些太差劲儿了。
It's all covered in today's China Truths.
What if the world's second largest economy is quietly unraveling, not in breaking headlines, but in the daily struggles of ordinary people? Picture this: a young man in Shenzhen staring at job listings at midnight with an empty stomach, asking himself how to survive another day. In another city, a shop owner runs her hand across the shutters of her closed business and whispers, "Should I just give up?" These stories are not rare. They are becoming the new normal across China. Young graduates are forced into gig jobs to keep from drowning. Factory workers fight over positions that pay barely 13 yuan an hour. Office towers stand hollow, shopping districts deserted, as if prosperity itself has walked away. This isn't a small stumble in the economy. It's a sign of something much deeper breaking apart. Economists warn the cracks are structural, not temporary. With youth unemployment hovering near 15% officially, and likely above 20% when the hidden jobless are counted, consumer demand shrinking, and frustration boiling over, many now ask, is China sliding into a far more severe crisis? Take a look at the summer of 2025. Official data says nearly 15% of people aged 16 to 24 are jobless, with another 7% for those just under 30. But independent analysts say the real figure could be much higher, and you can see it on the streets. Graduates selling dumplings under the scorching sun for a handful of coins. Engineering majors zipping through traffic as food delivery riders. Once busy factories in Jiangsu and Shanghai now silent, their gates locked. The great migration into cities is reversing. Young people pack themselves into hostels with 4, 5, even 6 in a single room. Some rent beds by the hour. Others stretch out on benches in subway stations, waiting for job offers that never come. For many, the dream of a city life has collapsed into one word: survival. The psychological toll is brutal. Viral posts on Douyin and Bilibili show desperate youth muttering "Babuliao," a phrase that roughly means "let it all end." Memes, jokes, and dark humor mask the despair, but underneath lies a wound cutting deep into the nation's belief in opportunity and progress. And that's the question haunting millions today. When the educated and the poor face the same hopeless fight, what happens next? Factories silent, streets deserted, China's growth in reverse. By mid-2025, the warning signs can no longer be ignored. Official data shows China's factory prices plunged 3.6% in June compared to last year, the sharpest fall in nearly 2 years. For the third straight month, the manufacturing PMI stayed below the break-even line of 50, signaling a deep and lasting contraction. Behind the numbers lies a sobering reality. Demand is drying up, warehouses are overstocked, and entire production lines are grinding to a halt. In provinces like Jiangsu and Zhejiang, workshops stand half empty. Some rotate workers through unpaid leave, others slash wages just to keep the lights on. Export orders are fading, local consumption is sluggish, and for many businesses, survival is the only strategy left. But the slowdown doesn't stop at the factory gates. Restaurants, cafes, and bars are feeling the shockwaves. Even staff from four-star hotels in Shanghai and Chengdu are abandoning stable jobs to hawk skewers on the street or deliver takeout for a few yuan in hand. A franchise owner in Shanghai confessed, "There are days we lose money even during the lunch rush. This isn't seasonal anymore. This is structural." On WeChat and Douyin, a new language of despair has taken hold. Phrases like "no cash," "deep in debt," "credit frozen," repeat like dark mantras among white-collar workers and small business owners. According to a survey by the 21st Century Business Herald, 6 in 10 small firms expect their revenues to fall further this year, despite state-issued relief. For countless families, the future is no longer the concern. The only goal is getting through the week. The signs are visible on the streets. Viral clips from Guangzhou show skeletal men sitting on sidewalks, holding signs begging not for money, but for food. One man claimed he hadn't eaten in weeks. While the details sparked debate, volunteers later confirmed he had survived on scraps and water from public bathrooms. The images shook millions. A quiet response has emerged in cities like Xi'an, Chengdu, and Nanjing, so-called rescue restaurants, Zhujiaguan. Small family-run kitchens serving one or two basic meals a day, sometimes free, sometimes for just 2 yuan. One owner told Kaishin, "Most people here haven't had a real meal in days. We're not running a business, we're helping people stand." Meanwhile, job boards and manufacturing hubs tell the same story. Ads for hard labor at 13 yuan an hour draw endless lines of applicants, many of them college-educated. Local footage from Suzhou shows crowds outside warehouses, waiting hours for a shift that pays less than the price of a bowl of noodles. Workers joke bitterly, 3 people do the job of 1 for the wage of a meal. Official poverty statistics remain frozen since 2024, but underground reports reveal a spreading crisis. Communities are setting up informal food stations. Neighbors exchange labor for bread. Handwritten signs read, "I need food, not cash." This is more than an economic slowdown. It's dignity eroding in real time. Factories may reopen, policies may shift, but for millions, the question has changed. It's no longer about building a better life. It's about eating today. Silent streets, broken dreams. China's middle class in crisis. Across China, the once proud middle class is unraveling. University graduates and skilled workers, once full of ambition, are now struggling to cover rent or even put food on the table. Some have turned to the unthinkable, selling blood for a few hundred yuan just to survive. What was meant to be a stepping stone to success, education, home ownership, small businesses, has instead become a trap of debt and despair. The strivers of yesterday, those who borrowed, studied, hustled, and bought into the property boom, are now crushed under collapsing house prices and relentless mortgage payments. Their assets are frozen, but the banks still demand interest every month. Many confess online, "I worked hard for 10 years. Now I sell blood and skip meals." It's not extravagance that's sinking them. It's the disappearance of income. Meanwhile, China's biggest cities are turning eerily quiet. Shanghai, Beijing, and Shenzhen once symbolized unstoppable progress. But today, entire industrial parks stand half empty. Even after rents drop by 20–30%, factories remain dark, offices unlit, and once bustling streets feel hollow. Volkswagen, Yakult, and Toto have all shut their doors, leaving behind silence where workers once poured in every morning. For the young, the story is even harsher. Viral clips show graduates from top universities delivering takeout, selling street food, or heading back to their rural hometowns with degrees they can't use. Many survive on less than 3,000 yuan a month. The emotional weight is crushing. Countless videos show young people whispering, "I don't know how long I can hold on," before breaking down in tears. This is no longer just an economic slowdown. It's a breakdown of trust, ambition, and hope. China's middle class was once promised a future of stability and prosperity. Now it faces a reality of shrinking jobs, rising debts, and silent cities that echo with disappointment. If this trend continues, the ripple effects could be enormous. A housing crash, mass defaults, and growing unrest from a generation that feels abandoned. The question is no longer how do we move ahead, but how do we even survive? So, is this the beginning of a long decline, or a turning point that will reshape China's future?
Summer 2025, China's young generation on the brink. The summer heat isn't the only thing suffocating China in 2025. Across the nation, millions of young people are staring at an unforgiving truth. No jobs, no savings, and debt so deep they may never climb out. Once successful business owners and workers now wander the streets with nowhere to go. Bankruptcies and mass layoffs have stripped them of homes, savings, and dignity. Under bridges, on station benches, and along cold sidewalks, the homeless population grows each night. Cardboard boxes and worn blankets replace beds. The sound of traffic becomes their lullaby. In the world's second-largest economy, survival for many now means simply finding a place to sleep. What began as scattered whispers in Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen has now erupted into a full-blown national crisis. Fresh graduates and young workers are drowning in loans, housing, education, credit cards, even peer-to-peer lending traps. Officially, youth unemployment sits at 20%. In reality, analysts believe it's closer to 35% to 46%. With property prices collapsing and frustration boiling over, the sense that China is approaching a breaking point is impossible to ignore. This isn't just another statistic for the evening news. This is a ticking social time bomb. And when it explodes, the shockwaves could spread far beyond China's borders. By mid-2025, China's personal debt crisis has reached staggering proportions. According to local financial outlets and research firms like Nylon, nearly 900 million people now carry personal debt, and 400 million are already in serious repayment trouble. These debts pile up from every direction: mortgages, car loans, maxed-out credit cards, consumer finance schemes, and a decade-long boom in peer-to-peer lending. But the real problem isn't just the amount owed, it's that escape routes no longer exist. Interest rates are climbing again, just as household incomes flatline or decline. The real estate crash has trapped countless homeowners, still chained to massive mortgages for properties now worth a fraction of their purchase price. And unlike in some countries, where bankruptcy laws offer a fresh start, China's legal system leaves almost no room for individuals to wipe the slate clean. Every missed payment leaves a scar on one's credit record, poisoning job prospects, rental applications, even access to basic financial services. Many resort to taking new loans just to cover old ones. But with housing prices sinking and job creation slowing, this dangerous juggling act is collapsing. For a growing number of families, over half their monthly income now disappears into debt payments, and the principal barely shrinks. It's a relentless treadmill with no finish line, and more people are realizing they may never get off. The vanishing future: China's jobless generation. It's the summer of 2025, and for millions of young Chinese, life feels like a movie with the ending cut out. The plot stops here. No career, no savings, no clear way forward. Official numbers claim unemployment among 16 to 24-year-olds hovers at around 20%, already far above the national average. But behind the curtain, analysts whisper a darker truth. The real figure may be 35% to 46%, once you count those who've stopped looking for work or scrape by in informal gigs invisible to government data. Each year, a fresh wave of graduates pours out of universities, armed with degrees, ambition, and dreams sold to them since childhood. But the landing is brutal. Instead of climbing the corporate ladder, they're pedaling through crowded streets delivering takeout, streaming on e-commerce platforms for hours on end, or selling fruit from makeshift stalls. Some broadcast online until midnight, fighting for every viewer, earning just enough to keep a roof overhead. Others jump between short-term jobs, a warehouse today, a coffee cart tomorrow, in a restless shuffle to survive. This is more than a paycheck crisis. It's the collapse of an unspoken promise that hard work and education would lead to a stable life. In a recent online poll, over half of this year's graduates confess they feel lost, stuck, or ready to lie flat. The slogan of a generation quietly stepping back from the race they were told to run.
Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.